Happy today. I am getting a message right now. So I am distracted by that, but I am going to kind of go from there. Sometimes when you try to do something new, it new doesn't work, but you just go along with it. So happy today once again. I am William Brown from IamWilliamBrown.com. This is Disconnect to Connect, one word conversations. Disconnect to Connect is brought to you by IamWilliamBrown.com, a place where you can be yourself and live your life. One way that I spotlight what is available on IamWilliamBrown.com is to spotlight our U cards. And I use our U cards to set the intention for our conversation. My I am card is I am purpose. My you are card is you are kind. And my quote card, and I think this is the third time this has come up this week, is before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, Jeremiah 1:5. So there is, I guess it feels like there's this spiritual component to this conversation, and that I need to get for this week. So with that in mind, I am going to introduce the word today, and the word is resonance. And I've been embracing that for a number of years, because just sitting with things that have happened and not happen, and in the busyness of my life, sometimes I was doing things when it didn't resonate with me, right? But really, the more that I embrace this word and have an understanding of it, the more I can show up fully. So with that in mind, I am going to bring my guest. It is a returning guest, one of my early adopters. I think she was with us on the first week of this show. Now she's in the first week of the second season. So I will bring my guest in and we'll have a conversation.
Hey, William.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Was I number 2 or was I number 5? Something like
that. I think it was like number 5. I think I started like on a Thursday, and then you were on like Tuesday or Monday, or Monday of the next week, right? Yeah. So that's what it was.
It's so funny. I didn't think of it as being an early adopter. I thought of it as being an early supporter.
Oh, wonderful. I appreciate it. So this is the moment where I ask my guests to introduce themselves however it feels comfortable to them.
Okay. My name is Wendy Horng Brawer. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area. I am a coach and a consultant. My company is called Intune Collective. We have a great leadership team, and we help companies and leaders find intunement. And I can talk a little bit more about that. It has a lot to do with resonance. And I'm very somatic based, which means body-based in the modality of what I bring forth with my work.
Oh, wonderful. There's some things happening on this side, so I hope it goes away. But because now it's like, oh my God, this is not working the way it should. Right. So, how does the word resonance land for you?
It's a word I use a lot. If you talk to people that I talk to on a daily basis, they would probably say that I use it all the time. Super excited. Resonance to me is a felt sense. Like I can feel, when I'm in resonance, and feels really good. And it's good enough that that's kind of what I attune myself to. Like I work on getting into a place where I feel like the attunement inside my body to guide me in my life right now. Right. And so I've now have enough instances where I feel like I'm taking inspired action from a place of resonance, that
Mm.
it's then building onto bigger and bigger decisions in my life that I'm turning over to the power of my own attunement with myself.
Right. No, I totally get it. And I just realized why I've had a challenge with resonance in my life, or it was something foreign to me, is because a large point of my life was denying or resisting what I was feeling,
Mhm,
my feelings. And
mhm,
so when it's like when, Brene Brown, in her work says, when we block off from the bad stuff, we also block off from the good stuff.
right,
And so I wasn't able to feel what my heart was trying to say to me
right,
because I was so trying to protect myself and trying, not to really kind of deal with the emotions and the
mhm,
feelings of myself. And so the more that I've embraced, what's going on and what I'm feeling,
mhm,
the more that I can move within that. Wow.
right. So it's a word that's really alive for you too, like
Mhm.
it yeah. And so when did the word start taking meaning for you? Like, when did you start saying, "Oh, this is a word that can help me feel more or do more in my life?"
Right. I think when I kind of stepped into I guess doing big things, right?
Mhm,
So it was like and it's kind of a weird when I like say it out loud. It's like, I feel like I was being called to do something, but it's like, okay, I
mhm,
don't want to go alone. So I like have to look for support. I look for like internal support, right? It's like,
mhm,
okay, like what do you think? What do you think? It's like, are we doing this? And I think that's when this really um this words really started to show up for me, is because I was sitting with it. It wasn't just a decision, or
mhm,
choice, and saying, in my head, this makes sense, right?
mhm,
So I should do it. So it's like, okay, let's check my heart.
right.
Let's check and other areas, of
Mhm,
myself. And so that's really where I started to embody this. We've
mhm,
we've talked about that before, about
mhm,
embodying things, and I think being okay with that, being okay with, hey, if this doesn't resonate with me, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to do it because
mhm,
um, it makes sense,
mhm,
right? Or there is an inquiry, why does this not resonate with me?
right.
Instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to do something and just kind
Mhm.
of go forward.
There are ways, like, the language we use when we say, "I have to do this," or "I should do this,"
Right.
or "I'm just gonna gut it out."
Right.
I'm just gonna
Right.
it doesn't feel right, but I'm gonna just do it anyway. Like,
Right.
that's our self-sabotaging ourselves, right? So
Wow.
it is, right? It's an easy way to say, something's off. Your body's telling you, you can feel it. You might not be able to name it, but you're still gonna go against it.
Right.
And so, that we block ourselves that way is a hard thing to face, and we do it really often. So
Right.
my practice and what I hope for people is that they start paying attention to the times that they do that and bring awareness to it, so that they can start unpacking it. And, like, back to our first conversation, like, what drives me is, like, how do I help people feel open and
Right.
expansive, right? And
Right.
so resonance is a part of that, because when we're not doing things that make us feel bound or feel out of touch with ourselves, then we are more open.
Right. And I really get that, and I appreciate that. Is that, one of my favorite poems from Mother Teresa is, do it anyway. And And the good side of the do it anyway is that you show up no matter what other people say or how you feel and all that.
Mhm.
Not how you feel, but what some signals that you are getting, external signals,
Mhm.
of it, of appreciation. And I think there's, there's definitely a negative side to that. But the one thing that I'm really starting to appreciate, the more that I am, taking those baby steps or taking those, imperfect actions, is that how am I feeling about it? How do I want to show up within this? And I've recognized most of the times when there is this odd, I'm at odds with it. I,
Mhm.
it is a label. It is an expectation. It is like, my dad label says that I need to do this, even though this doesn't feel right. My husband label says this. My Christian label says, and it's kind of forcing that along. And it's like, okay, am I going to go with this expectation or this assumption of what this label is saying that I should do? Or am I going to trust, myself, who I am,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
really have that awareness
Mhm.
of how, um, how this is resonating with me.
Mhm. It used to feel like when I was not practiced in this, like I totally relate to everything you just described, like other people's voices, the way that I was brought up and things that I felt like I needed to do in order to be good or good enough, right? We've
Right.
talked about that before. And it was the first process, like you said, is like feeling your feelings, but then it was like quieting these voices in my head that were
Hmm.
really like what I've come to learn of it. It's like my super ego trying to protect me. And it's almost like my old reptilian brain saying, stay safe. But
Right.
it doesn't match the needs of risk taking, of individualization, self
Right.
actualization in the modern day world that we have the capacity to do.
Right.
Right.
It's
So it's like taking back the power over your super ego and right sizing it and say, thank you for doing your job from my birth to age whatever. And now I'm going to put you here by my side and we're going to work together, but you're not in charge anymore.
right. Yeah. It's kind of interesting that, I recognize that my brain, right, my head
Mhm.
trying, keep me safe, right,
Mhm.
is trying to, and the gymnastics that I go through in my head to kind
Mhm.
of, I'm doing things and not doing things at the same time, right? you know, um,
Mhm.
and it's like, I would say things, my heart got me into trouble again, right? And
Mhm.
it was like, it is like, most of the times when I trust my heart, or when I trust things that resonate with me, there is this initial not understanding of it, right? That
Mhm.
causes me to feel that, oh, geez, what am I dealing with? What is that other kind of
You
thing
feel
going
it.
on?
Yeah.
And until I'm with it, and it's like, oh, I get it. This
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
why I'm here. This is why,
Right.
and so it's like, the heart or the gut, it's kind of it almost has to pull us into ourselves, right? It has
Mhm.
to really kind of, um I don't know if the right word is convince us, but it is
Mhm.
kind of, there is, um you get evidence why, while moving, right? Why being in it, why
Mhm.
feeling it, instead of what happens in my head of, you know working out all the steps, okay, this steps to this steps to this steps, and it's like, okay, this doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, but we're going to do it anyway, right? We're going to
Mhm.
do it and just kind of go from there. How can we start trusting that? I don't want to say, I don't know, is that the right way? It's just to trust what we're feeling.
I think it's, not to go back and do postmortem over your own life, but a little bit of like healthy analysis, like looking back over a time in your life where you felt that gut instinct guiding you and saying something's off. but you did the wrong thing anyway, and you stayed in it, going back and looking and saying, what did I see back then what do I see now that I didn't see back then, right?
Mm.
Hindsight is perfect, or whatever that saying is. And what was it that kept me going in the wrong direction?
Mm.
Was it fear? Was it, just the really purely lack of trust, and just having a little bit of self-awareness around that, and
Right.
then carrying that forward and saying, let's try an experiment, over things where, can I notice my gut informing me over the next 24 hours? Do I
Mm.
want to eat this? Do I want to work on project A or project B? And just
Right.
asking your body to give you the feedback first, and then taking action from it, and just noticing what that does to your energy, your mindset, your
Right.
enthusiasm. And I think what it does is, over time, we start building higher vibrational versions of ourselves.
Right.
And
Got
it
it.
feels good to work and live from that place, that you start getting some traction from that place and flow. Mm-hmm.
Right. It's really amazing, or I guess for me, this is, I use the word amazing, that there is there's a level of peace when things resonate with me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like I don't understand this, but I have peace about this, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. um and I think, I don't know why trust keeps on coming up, that that word, with that, but I really feel that there is this believing and trusting that causes the movement to
Mm-hmm.
kind of um, go along with it. And there was the image that I just got, and I don't know if this is the right, or something. There is like a pitchfork or something, right?
Tuning fork.
A tuning fork, right? Yes,
As you're
and
saying that, that's exactly what's in my head right now. Tuning fork.
it's right. And I was like, okay, why is a tuning fork in my head right now? And I could, I'm trying to get it
Absolutely.
and just
Yeah.
kind of connect, to that, and just kind of go along.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the energy, right? We're energetic beings. And
Right.
then when you are in tune with yourself and you're vibrating, and all of this, like, your head is calm, and there is working with you, and then your felt sense feels, really open, your heart's open, your belly is like really grounded and solid. There's nothing in you that says, don't do this, but you feel like open and at peace, right?
Right.
So the tuning fork is really cool, because I think that, like, if you think of you as a human being and all of these things outside of yourself, like gestalt work, or meditation and mindfulness and therapy and somatics and martial arts and EMDR, and like whatever people look for to
Right.
bring them into resonance with themselves,
Right.
right? Those are modern day constructs and tools that support us. And there's no right or wrong way through it. People will find the right modalities that work. But all of those things are ways to help us find ourselves,
Right.
and to
Wow.
move in that way. So I've been a seeker to, what are the ways that work for me? And then what are the ways that are the quickest ways for other people to achieve that for themselves as well?
Right. Wow. It's that really, sometimes I get so caught up with what I see, right? Or
Mhm.
what I'm not seeing. But,
Mhm.
it's like, what am I feeling? What am I hearing? What if, all of those things, the alignment, there are clues,
Mhm.
right? To kind of let you know, or let
Mhm.
let me know, so I can speak for myself, that what is currently present for me.
Mhm.
What song I'm singing, what dance I'm in, right? What
Mhm.
project I'm going to work in, what conversations that I'm going to have. And the more that I um, am open to that,
Mhm.
the more that I can be available for that. Huh.
Totally. Yeah. It's like
Wow.
another tool that you get to use, and it's powerful because it's like the deepest part of you that has the wisdom that we don't access that much. And in the work I do with private clients, it's great. in the corporate world, it's so needed. It's like, how
Right.
do we open up possibilities for more people to show up more fully at work?
Right.
Right. And in all of our lives, like if people walked around more in touch with themselves and gave themselves the birth to be who they wanted to be, just what you're after. It's like exactly what you stand for. We're after
Right.
the same thing, you know?
Right. It's so because I've in the corporate environment that I've been in the past, and even in my business, there is it feels like I've been conditioned to just be more concerned about the work. I'm
Mhm.
at work to work. You know,
Mhm.
I'm not at work to show up, right? To pull
Mhm.
up, right? To be myself and to kind of do that. I, it's like, okay, I just need to work, whatever that work is.
Yeah.
And sometimes feeling that there is there is little to no individual contribution to that work.
Mhm.
And I think that's why it feels like it's so needed for us to have this
Mhm.
conversation about self and what resonates with us and what lights us up, so we can be in our work, right? So
Mhm.
we can bring our uniqueness to it. And so it just the one thing about this pandemic for me that I have learned about myself, and it is my prayer that a lot of other people get, is that I have been forced to
Mhm.
like slow down enough to see how I'm showing up and not showing up.
Yes.
Before, there was this busyness of
Yeah.
I need to do this, I need to do this, and this is I need to stay on this wheel.
Mhm.
Now that there has been this slowing, in some cases stopping, it's like, whoa, wow, I didn't realize that, that's how I'm showing up and not showing up in this.
Mhm.
So it is just really that my contribution, what resonates with me, really will help not just change, but transform the environments that I'm in.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I think, like you said, there's a sense of peace and calm, right? Which
Mhm.
helps you regulate your emotions and how you're showing up with other people. One, better relationships, you know. And then the self awareness means that you have a quicker pipeline to giving yourself what you need,
Mm,
whether it's self care, rest, creative expression, like whatever it is you need, you're tapped into it a little bit more.
mm,
There's good benefits to that. And then in the workplace, like you said, it's like, or our work, it's like we're more creative, we're more non-judgmental about ourselves.
right.
We feel like we can contribute, and when people feel like they contribute, that then they belong, they feel valued, they feel worthy and appreciated, and those are fundamental human needs as well. So it's a good virtuous cycle around all of this.
Right. Why do you, I guess this is a question that I ask myself, and sometimes I put this question out there. I don't know
Mhm.
if it's fair or not, but why do you think it's so difficult, or it feels like it's so difficult to really stay in resonance with ourselves, stay within the I guess the energy of who we are.
Mm. I think it's like discomfort, right? It's like there's
Mm,
like two magnets coming together, and there's like a repel, like it repels each other a little bit until we can
mm,
get comfortable enough to get close and, like, again, like compassionately say, it's okay. I'm here to just notice. I'm here to just understand what's going on.
right.
Because we're, again, I think it's back to the super ego. Like we're so
Mm,
programmed to be busy, to be productive, to have our lives look a certain way,
mm,
right? Please people for whatever reasons that we do that. And
right.
so we get really outside of ourselves. And so when there's an opportunity to say, I can be happy,
Mm,
I can actually have the life that I want, it's like almost like a mind blowing, too big to absorb type life,
right.
right?
Right.
No, you can't really do that. Um, so it's like giving ourselves permission to
Right.
believe in ourselves.
Yeah, it's something that that blew my mind recently is that, I have to consistently give myself permission to be myself, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it's
The
like I can't,
awareness.
yeah, I just can't be myself. I have to like, okay, it's okay for you to
Mm,
show up in this, right?
mhm,
It's
mhm,
okay for you to be happy. It's okay
mhm,
for, for you to, to have a differing opinion about this
mhm.
or feeling about this. And it's just, if we're not, when I feel like I'm not in that state of giving myself that permission,
Mhm.
I can show up in some crazy and difficult situations sometimes because it's like, where are you?
Right.
Or it's like, geez, it's like, hello, right? It's
And then we
like,
wake up on the other end and we're hard on ourselves in ways that makes it even worse because then we can get
right,
stuck there for a little while, But
right.
I think of resonance as a mindfulness practice,
Hmm.
right? It's
Right,
like you go through your day, things are happening, and it's like, oh yeah, that doesn't feel good. Like I just ate the wrong food that doesn't make me feel good. I
right,
made a wrong choice. I didn't leave early enough for the meeting because of whatever decision I made. So it's like just noticing when there's like stress, when you feel like you self-sabotaged yourself, and just like
right,
taking back your power is the way I also see it,
right.
right?
Wow. Yeah, I think that, I have a journal. It's like, 15 minutes with you a day, right? And just
Mhm,
to kind of like show up, and I think when, it is not something that I do daily. I don't go through my journal daily, but there are some days that, that I just ask myself the question and I write that down. But some days that I go through the journal, all the way through and do the whole time. But it's just what you were saying. It's
mhm,
just being aware that, hey, oh crap, I just said that and it doesn't feel well. What's that all about? Or I didn't say that and this is what's going on. I realized for myself that there were so many, areas of my life within my communication, within my relationships, that I had no awareness
yeah,
about what I was saying
mhm,
and not saying and what I was doing. And it's like, wow, it's like it's so it was like I was asleep,
yeah.
to everything. And it's like,
How did
and
you get to where you are now? Like, where was that turnaround? What did you do?
I think, it started off with trauma, right? It started off with being confronted with um what I thought something was, it wasn't, So I
Mhm,
mean, there, it was, within, in my marriage, right? And so it's like, oh crap, this is, so I need to either wake up to this, or
mhm,
wake, wake up and, or, there will be craziness will ensue, right? It will just kind of like happen. And so because of the person that I am, or it caused me to say, okay, where else am I not awake?
mhm,
Where else
mhm,
am I thinking that my life is this, and and it's not. And there were some places where it's like, whoa, it's
mhm,
like, you thought this was bad, look at this, you thought this was bad, it's like. And then it was like really being okay um, with looking at areas of my life that I wasn't available in, that I
mhm,
wasn't awake to, caused me to not judge it, but just be aware.
mhm,
And it's like now with um, this practice, and I love how you said, it's a practice, and I'm trying to put, 5 steps to stay in residence, right?
mhm,
It's not, it's not, that's what we do as coaches, right? We have to put steps to stuff, right?
mhm,
There's a methodology to this. But really, maybe just asking that, that word, what am I feeling right now?
mhm,
What's resonating with me right now? Or something, or I'm trying to find the language. But I think it sometimes it needs that, you know that kick in the gut, or or that,
mhm,
bump on the head, or or something to cause you to to be awakened to
Mhm.
something. And that's how it was for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I was married and I had a lot of stress in my body, and I felt like I was going through every single day with my adrenaline running and my cortisol running, and it was not a great emotional place for me to be in. And so
Hmm.
the unwinding of that has taught me how to manage stress better, and in getting that I felt calm inside my body for the first time in years, right?
Mm.
And that created an openness that I loved. I was like, oh, how can I get more of this?
Right.
Right. And then learn how to clear my mind and clear all those critical narratives and other voices in my head. And
Right.
just it just became a clearing, but the clearing feels like an emptying out, you
Hmm.
know? And I got used to this feeling of being emptied out, like, oh, I'm
Hmm.
clear, I'm an open vessel now, like what's coming. But in the past, I don't know, in the past year, I've really filled out, like my interior life is like filled out with the density. It feels like I'm filled with like spongy, like a dense
Hmm.
car wash sponge.
Right. Right.
A little heft into it. And so it's like I'm not an empty vessel. I've done enough work around paying attention to myself that I think my body's rewarding me back with like, yeah, here you are. Here you are. You're showing up like this. And
Right.
I can
Wow.
feel the difference in my own sense of confidence, what I feel like I have to offer in terms of helping other people find their way through this journey. And it's
Right.
like my body's just like come in and filled itself in to the point of the grounded nature, I think, that comes when you're in resonance.
Right. Oh no, I just love your body rewarding you, right? It's like
Uh-huh.
it's like it's no, the feeling that I have gotten, on my journey is like it's like welcome home, right? It's
Mhm.
like welcome to yourself, right?
Yeah.
And it's like but and it's there was this at first, like I don't know if it was ego. It was like,
Mhm.
you know, why didn't I know this? I thought I knew this, and I didn't know. And all this kind of stuff. I was like beating myself up. Um, but when I stopped beating myself up and had compassion for myself,
Mhm.
there was this piece, and like, okay, now you have this awareness, and now you can get through. I don't want to say the next, right? But maybe that's what it is, right? You know, right?
Always.
It's like, you will come to this again, right? Right. And
Mhm.
and just kind of or be okay with that now, because I have the tools, I have the awareness, of that. And
Yeah.
it's just really great that, in embracing this whole and completeness of
Yeah.
my life, right?
Yeah.
We say that, but when we feel that, when there's resonance in that, it's a totally different
Mhm.
way
Mhm.
of being and showing up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if you've ever seen like Aikido, where they wear the big skirts and they walk and their hips are, they're like hinged from their hips. It feels like that. Like it feels like when you're in resonance, you have like more majestic dignity to your
Yes.
stride, and you're grounded and you're wider in your base, which means
Right.
you're just connected to the ground even, and
Hmm.
you carry that forward into whatever you want to create or the life you want to build. And there's power to that, I think, that comes too.
Right.
So,
There was this, I don't know, remember, Casey Kasem, right?
I remember him.
Um, yeah, it's, he would, I think one of his closing things is like, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars, right?
Yeah.
Right. And there is this feeling that, I've been getting, I don't know if it was this week in meditation or last week. I saw myself like grounded, rooted in
Mhm.
the ground, but like
Mhm.
stretching, up. And it was like,
Mhm.
okay, where are we going here? Right. It's like, but there was a perspective. There was a shift in how I saw myself, and how I
Yeah.
saw the world, and how I saw my um, surrounding, but there
Mhm.
was still this groundedness to it. And I've been like saying, huh, what's coming? What's next? What's,
Mhm.
why do I need to have, this, awareness.
Mhm.
But there was this feeling of peace, right?
Mhm.
That it made sense,
Mhm.
and there was this knowing, and I've mentioned on the show, a couple times before about, last year when I read, um, The Power of Noun, and I
Mhm.
was, I said, I used the word, I was afraid because I approached that book as if I was learning something new. Hey, I
Mhm.
want new information. But the more I was reading it, it was like, wait a minute, I know this.
Mhm.
This is not new. And it was like, whoa, wait a minute, how do I know this? Right? It's like, and then it was like, but there was this resonance with me with what was in the book, and just, I am coming to a place that I accept that.
Mhm.
I am not afraid of things that ground me and that will kind of cause me to kind of have that dignity, as you were saying,
Mhm.
to walk up in this, like, okay, hey, I can, I can do this. I know this. I don't need a certificate or all that other kind of stuff to kind of to move forward in this. This is something that's a part of me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. And also I was just thinking of like new things that we try also gives us feedback, like is this
Mm.
something I that fits my purpose? Is this something that I will enjoy? And you can just give yourself permission to enjoy the things that bring you joy.
Right. And that, the card that came up, my I am card is, I am purpose. And the more that, I had to sit with that for a while, when I was creating the card, and every time I picked the card, that, for me, I felt that my purpose was this external thing that I was, looking
Looking
for and trying to all that other kind of stuff. The
Mhm.
more that I embrace that I am purpose,
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
life, my whole existence, and the
Mhm.
more that, you know, vibrates through my whole body, right?
Mhm.
The more that I can kind of really embrace that, you know, I will show up in every situation, in relationship, in work as purpose. There is a purpose that just
Mhm.
showed up, and that feels right. And I think that's what this time is calling for us.
Yeah. And that you bring up a good thing in terms of like as a coach working with clients. I help them craft, a commitment statement. So it's like whether it's for that one session that we're working on or over the arc of 10 sessions, it's like, what are you trying to get out of the work and what are you committed to?
Right.
And the way that I've been trained by my trainers at the Strozzi Institute um, is that instead of saying I am committed to blah 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 blah, it's I am a commitment to.
Hmm.
You take that
Wow.
commitment and you embody it, and then you test for resonance against it. It's like, is this true? Like,
Right.
are these the right words? And so then you hone it and you craft it until you wordsmith it. And so right now, as I sit here, it's like I am a commitment to healthy relationships.
Hmm.
It used to
Got
be
it.
grander, like I am a commitment to being an embodied woman of color leader or other things, but like it's really simple for me
Hmm.
because healthy relationships show up in my family, at work, like what an integrity around the relationship. So like how do I show up as a commitment to healthy relationships?
Right. Wow. Yeah.
Carry
I am a commitment.
that.
Right.
Mhm.
Wow. No, I got it. You just gave me another tool. It's like I've had a number of conversations, and it's like, it's either a toolbox or a backpack. I'm trying to say I'm on a journey. So it's like I want to, I
Pack
want to
it in.
travel, right. I want to, travel light, but there's some stuff that I'm picking up that is going along on this journey with me.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think we can talk about this for hours, but
Great work.
yeah, it's just great because this word and this conversation really resonates with me, right?
Mhm.
It really gets, it feels like this is what I need to be doing at this
Mhm.
time. This
Awesome.
is the exploration that I need to have, and it's this a reminder And so, with that in mind, is there, a little, happy dance, right? Right.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to leave with everyone?
Um, there are 5 steps to being in resonance with yourself. And we call it, the art of being in tune. So on the In Tune Collective website, there's some blog posts that you can find that break down the steps. And my life's work is around helping people, be unbound enough and in tune enough, right? Unbound so that you've cleared what's blocking you, and then in tune enough so that you know what you're doing with that openness and freedom and joy. And then go do it. Go do it. Go forth. Go do it. You know,
Right.
because we're here for a reason. We're here for short-ish time. And
Right.
so not to put a fire under each of our butts, but it's like, go do it.
Right. It's look, and sometimes we need that fire, right? Our nice little kick, a loving reminder, right?
Mhm.
Of who we are. And it's like one part of my coaching is to have an actionable awareness of self. And I think the biggest thing for me, because I am committed to an actionable awareness of
Mhm.
of myself, is to stay in action, to stay
Mhm.
in movement, to stay, because sometimes on this self journey that I'm on, I feel like I need to figure some things out. I need to get these ducks in a row. I need to do all this other. It's like, let's keep it moving, right? Let's. It's
Mhm.
like this is what you know. Let's just go with that. Thank you very much. I mean, like I said, you are episode 5, and now I think you're.
What episode are we today?
You know what? I think you're. I kind of started over with season 2, and I probably
Mhm.
shouldn't. But I think this is 130.
Wow.
130. So I think you're in episode 5 of season 2. So I mean, so it's like, I guess 5
Hmm.
is your number. I don't know if that's if there's any meaning to
Sure.
that,
So
but
when season 3 rolls around, you'll know when to call me.
well, no, I know who my guest is, right? So,
Perfect. Awesome.
well, thank you very much. This has been lovely, and I would
Really
love to
fun.
say our goodbyes if you're able to stay in
Yeah.
the green room, so we can say
Okay.
our quick
Thanks,
goodbyes from there.
William.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. All right, bye bye. Wow, this has been great. What resonates with you? And it's like really just sitting in your feels, and what's your body saying. It's like, too often for me, I feel like, if does this make sense, and I stop right there. This makes sense, or this doesn't make sense, and then I take an action. But the more that I I check in with my body, check in with my feelings, check in with everything, and find that alignment. I love the tuning fork, that came up early today. Just really, what are you in tune to? What is causing you to move and to show up in your life? And that is I guess that's the word, that's the conversation that I invite you to have with yourself and other people today. I hope this conversation has brought value to you into your life. And this is a global self discovery and relationship building conversation that I'm inviting you to be a part of daily. And I would love, if you would love to have a conversation with me, I invite you to reach out to me at iamwilliambrown.com and have a complimentary coaching session. We can just see what shows up, because the world wants you, the world needs you, and the world is waiting for you. So go be you. Blessings. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow on One Word Conversations.